Hey everybody, it's Mr. Patel. I hope you guys are doing well. Just wanted to get our next lesson in Excel completed today. So first, you'll need to open up the sales document that is located in Schoology. And it should look something like this when you open it up. And then you can simply drag the spreadsheet over to your workbook that you've been working in. Or you can work in this particular workbook. It doesn't matter, however you choose to do it. So predominantly we're going to be working with tables and charts today and teaching you the ins and outs of tables and charts. So we'll be looking at the recommended charts section under the insert ribbon, and then looking at scatter plots, and then how do we modify them and why they're really important. You'll notice in this screen here, I wanted to share with you different Excel chart types. So when you're in math class or your business classes or a science class, you can actually identify which one you're supposed to use at the right time. So here we'll start with our column, line, and pie charts. These are probably the most common, and the bar graph. The donut is not very popular, but it can be used. And you'll notice that there's a description for each and what kind of data you can actually graph with that. So I'm going to let you start and stop, and I would highly suggest you write some of these down because you never know when you'll use them in your classes. If you're in an IB DP class, you will probably use many of these for math studies, for IB sciences, even IB psychology. A scatter plot is really great when you're trying to identify independent variables and dependent variables, and if there's a relationship between the two. The bubble is great for 3 sets of values. And then, of course, stock is where you're using it for scientific data. And the surface radar and combo are not very common at all. But these are the different types of graphs, and tables, graphs, charts that you can use. All are really great. So feel free to pause and stop as you want to take a read for each one of these. Okay, get ready. Let's play a little bit. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a chart. I'm going to show you a mistake that we make often. This is a mistake. So select B2 through B8. And then click the Insert tab. And in the Charts group, click the Pie button. And you're going to click the first 2D pie chart in the drop-down menu. You see this color-coded pie chart. Move the mouse pointer to the largest slice. And the screen tip right here that just popped up shows Series 1.1, value 2014, 39%. This actually corresponds to the label 2014 rather than the actual data that we're trying to graph. Take a look at the second chart, at the second largest slice. What do you see here? Value is 1575. So this is showing us the total sales, and this over here is showing us the year. So you see this is the wrong chart, and this is not how you create a chart. So let's click on the chart's white space here and hit the delete button in the top right corner of your keyboard. This time I want you to select B3 through B7. Click the Insert tab, and in the Charts group click Pie, and select the first 2D pie, we have a slightly different chart now. This is the correct data, but it's really hard to interpret with only the numbers to identify the parts of the pie, right? You can't really tell what's going on here. So this is not a good way of charting this information either. Let's click this one and get rid of it. So now I'm going to show you the right way to do things. This is why it's so important to make sure that you format Excel spreadsheets properly, just like this one is formatted very, very well. All the years are in one place, all the items, all the total sales, everything's clearly identified. And if you do this, when you use it in class, you'll be able to create your pie charts very easily. So let's select A2 through B7. Then click the Insert tab, click the pie chart. We'll stick with the 2D. Now we have pretty clear identified data. And it has the right title, and we have labels for each of the colors. See how that works? So what we're going to do next is move the mouse pointer to a blank spot within the chart and drag the chart to move it around. So I'm going to bring it over here and just drag it around. Okay, I'm going to move it actually to below the data here. Now you could easily, if you had to print this off for something, you could just file and then print it. You're of course not going to do it, but you could print it and this is what it would look like. And you could use that for a presentation or something. Okay. So now you've created three different charts. The first two incorrect. This is a reasonable chart. But our official chart we want to look at is the right chart for the data that we have. So we want to graph all of these things. So I'm going to actually delete this one again. And we're going to start one more time. This time select cells A2 through F7. You typically don't ever do the total sales. It's standard practice not to do that kind of stuff. In some instances it's helpful, but generally you want to leave that off. Now this type of data requires us, instead of a pie chart, if we're doing just 1 year, we could do a pie chart, but we're doing many years, so we actually want to use a column or a bar chart. So we're going to use a column or bar chart. And let's use the 3D version. We'll use the very first one this time. And voila, now we have a column bar chart. This is easy to compare the values. Move this down over here. And we're going to do one more again, clicking the same materials, A2 through F7, and I want to insert another chart, a second chart. And this time I want you to do a line chart. So look for the line charts. There it is. Do the little drop down box. And the first one in the second row is going to be a 2D. Let's do this one. This is the one we want here. The line with markers. I'm gonna, oops. So once you have your bar chart, three-dimensional, and then you create your line chart, which is the line, you select the same data, you have to select it a second time, and then click on line with markers, and voila, there it is, okay? So take a second to look at the two charts. In the column chart, coffee and espresso are by far the largest revenue sources, but coffee accessories are catching up. On the line chart, notice that the coffee and espresso is increasing over time, but the coffee accessories increases faster. Bakery items are decreasing, it looks like, and the deli sales is a bit up and down. So click the column chart, and then go to the chart tools and select Design tab. And to the right, you're going to see click the Move Chart button. Now, it's going to say where you want to send this. So you could create it as an object in the sales document that's already in, or you can do a new chart entirely. So it's kind of a neat way of transferring stuff from one place to another. Okay? So we're going to create a new sheet here. We're going to call this what it's going to do is create just our column data. All right? Nice and simple. I want you to do the same thing with the sales chart here. I'd like for you to, oh, there it is right there, column. And then here's the line with markers. So click this one, move chart. Let's say line with markers. Okay, and now I have a line with markers chart that I could use for a presentation or print out later on. So let's go back to our sales document. Get ready. Use your sales spreadsheet, and this time select the year labels and the coffee espresso cells. The year labels and the coffee espresso cells. So that would be A2 through F3. Click the Insert tab. And now this time I want to show you the Recommended Charts feature. So click the Recommended Charts. Excel recommends 4 different charts here, which is really nice. It kind of does all the hard work for you. And I want you to select the other ones here simply by clicking. So the first one is a line graph. We're going to select this one and this one so you can read through all the different versions. So we like the line chart the best here. It shows the right trend. So hit OK. Perfect. It's already selected. We're going to move the chart. And we're going to call this a total line chart. Now we have a total line for coffee and espresso that you could again use in a presentation. Go back to sales. Get ready. Select A2 through F7. And this time, we're going to insert column or bar. And this time, create a 3D cluster. So if you hover over it, it will tell you the name of it. 3D cluster. I want you to drag this over underneath the data. So it's just another way of presenting information. and then select away from it. Then we're going to select the same data again. And we're going to go back to the insert. We're going to create another column one, but this time we're going to do a 3D stacked. And you'll notice this right here is a stacked. Let's use 3D. Let's do this one right there. 3D stacked bar. And I want you to position this one right next to this, like so. Just dragging it around. Very good. We like the stacked one a lot. We're going to do a move chart. And we're going to create the new sheet. We're going to call it stacked. Excellent. We'll select the sales sheet again. Click on it. And this was a clustered. So we're going to do move chart. And we're going to rename this clustered bar. So you notice here at the bottom, we have all these different types now. That was our official document, but then we have, look at these different ways to represent the same data, and they all can be spoken about in different ways depending on what your audience is going to be. So this is the end of the first lesson. Make sure you save it. You can click the save icon here, or you can do File, Save As, and you'll have to search for your H drive if you have it. All right, folks, let's go on to our next lesson, and we'll see you later on.